thoughtful conversations that strengthen our faith, and listen to inspiring INC original music. Become a part of the warm and loving community we call Ohana, or family, because we are in this together in faith and melody.
This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ, or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Don't be afraid to take the baby steps. It's another day, don't forget, 'cause just a prayer away. Don't give up now, trust the process and keep learning. And if you need a friend, we're in this together, together, together. We're in this together, together, together. We're in this together, 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 together as a family in faith and melody.
Hello, hello, greetings and salutations, and welcome back, everyone, to another week of INC Radio's Faith and Melody. And for those who are new to this show, this is the program where we have deep, rich, and life affirming conversations while listening to inspiring Iglesia ni Cristo original music. I am Jay from Australia. I am one of your hosts for today's broadcast, but we are also very excited for someone that's going to be introducing himself. They'll be joining us on today, more than just a guest. So let's get the introductions out of the way. Again, you all know me. This is Jay, but also joining me today.
Hi everyone, I'm Belle from the United Kingdom. I'm so excited for today's topic. But yes,
And
last but not
I
least,
am here. I used to be a guest, but I guess now I am with the team. I am also coming to you live from Germany. My name is Henry. I will be one of your hosts today. I'm so happy, so thankful to be here.
Woo!
It is a
We're
great
very
day.
excited.
This is a very great day, a very great time for us to start this week. You know, the Faith and Melody team on Monday is now expanded, and I'm happy to be part of this Ohana. So thankful. Hope everyone, or I should say, thank you to everyone for your your nice greetings and your reception to this faith and family, especially to Jay and Belle. Thank you so much for making it so welcoming for me.
oh, welcome, Henry. We're so excited to have you here, not only as a guest, but now as a host.
As a
Ah,
part of the actual host, and not only host, right? Also a producer for Faith and Melody Ohana. So very, very excited. So let's go ahead. Henry, what are we going to be talking about on today's broadcast?
all right, so let's get started. So we live in a fast-paced world where messages can be sent instantly and voices compete for attention. But real communication goes beyond quick words. It's about listening with empathy and speaking with sincerity. So today, we're going to explore what it means to truly connect beyond the words.
So let's get started now with our first song on our playlist, which is Heirs to the Crown.
afternoon, good evening to everyone. Along with Jay and Bell, again, I am Henry here on INC Radio's Faith and Melody, where it is currently 12:10 a.m. over in our main studio in the Philippines. So, magandang umaga. I need to work on my Tagalog. But good morning to all of our early viewers in the Philippines. Later on in the show, we're going to go deeper beyond surface level conversations into what it really means to speak and listen with love. And that's more on today's topic, beyond the words. We already have an active chat. Everyone's already saying their greetings from Kuya Rod. Hello, Faith and Melody. Greetings from Livermore, Northeast California. Happy Monday. Ate Des, aloha. It's another week. Mario Oka, watching in the Philippines. Greetings from the local of Brixtonville district of Caloocan North, and a very familiar name, Rachel Inocencio. I love to meet her one day. Greetings to all our viewers tonight from the locale of Heidelberg district of Central Europe, and a familiar name, Zenaida Novesteras. Happy Monday, Tuesday, Ohana, Faith and Melody. Greetings from Midtown Toronto, district of Greater Toronto, Canada. And so, as we always do, before we get into our topic discussion, we are going to begin with our kickoff chat.
Kickoff chat.
So a very, very simple question that we're asking for our kickoff chat, just to get the brain juices flowing, to prepare ourselves for the upcoming conversation that we'll be having about going beyond the words. This kickoff chat question: which do you find more challenging, listening or expressing how you feel? Let us know in the live chat, all of our live viewers, our Ohana that's tuned in with us right now. What's more challenging for you, listening or expressing how you're feeling? Belle, let's hear from you first. Which one is which one do you find more challenging?
For me, when someone opens up to me, it's easier for me to listen to them, to what they're going through, and understand them, rather than like, expressing my feelings towards that. I feel like, because when it comes to your own experience, your own point of view, sometimes it's hard because you get emotional, or it's just a hard or sensitive topic. So for me, it's easier to actually listen, and I kind of find it challenging to open up sometimes. But yeah, it really depends. But in this case, listening more. But what about you, Jay or Henry?
Let's ask Henry. Let's find out from Henry. Which one's more challenging for you?
So it depends on how emotional I am, right? If I'm hungry, maybe you don't want to hear me say too much things. I mean, it's not gonna be hard to express myself. It'll just be, uh, how should I say? It will be, and I'll say this term a lot in our conversation today: emotional hijacking. Right? If you are emotional, where your mind is not in a good place, it'll be challenging to say things in a much more careful way when your emotions get the best of you. And we're gonna be talking a lot about that today, when emotions do get the best of you. So I find it more challenging if I am emotional. It's harder to express how I feel. What about you, Jay?
For me, I find it more challenging. I find it easier to listen, so I do find it challenging to express how I'm feeling. I mean, like the simple things like hunger. If I'm hungry or thirsty or sleepy, that's okay. But like expressing how I feel, like if I get frustrated or annoyed with something, I don't know. Like I find it very challenging to express that. But I have realized over the past experiences I've had, listening is a lot easier. It comes more naturally for me to just listen to other people, listen to other people's, complaints or whatever it might be, or like they're hungry, right? So it's easier for me to listen. But let's find out as well. We've got a couple of messages coming through to our live chat. So, Henry, what are they saying over there in our live chat?
So we got some responses. Start off with my wife. She's saying that she finds it more challenging to express how she feels. For Kuya Rod. For me, I find it more challenging to express my feelings. And for Zenaida, she says listening. And Kuya Rod, he follows up with, I think I'm a good listener. And, expressing how you feel, it does take some practice. When you're younger, I think you guys can agree that when we were younger, expressing how you feel, you don't know how to express it. So as a baby, how do you express as you feel? You just cry. You just start
No,
making
yeah,
noises.
that's true. That's true.
And so as you get older and you learn the words to say, expressing how you feel, it's a little bit more easier. But I think we can all agree that it's hard to express how you feel when you're feeling something so strong. And another greeting from Lani saying, hello po, Faith and Melody Ohana. So again, our chat's always contributing. They're expressing to us what is their challenge. And we're going to be talking about more today, uh, ways to overcome that challenge. Is that accurate, Jay?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's definitely a lot to do with, since we're talking about beyond the words later in our topic, it's all about the expressing, like putting into words what you're feeling and sharing that, communicating that to your loved ones, to your friends, to people around you. Like just the skill of being able to put into words what you're feeling and your emotions and your thoughts, right? That's always challenging for some. And of course, the other side to that is the listening part, right? Maybe somebody's trying to open up to you, trying to share something with you, trying to express that they're feeling unheard, or anything like that. There's always going to be somebody on the other end that's going to be listening. So that's what we're going to be covering today in our segment. But again, we're excited to have all of our Ohana that's tuned in with us, that's saying hello in our live chat. So we'll see if we've got a lot more to talk about. And really the first things that we're going to be talking about is the difficulty that comes from expressing your feelings. Because I think a lot of the answers, if I'm not mistaken, they said that they find it easier to be a good listener. Is that right? Like, is the majority of the votes, the majority of the comments, good listener? Yes?
I think it's a balance. So maybe it's because they're listening to us right now and they want to contribute. And so that becomes a, a situational type of thing where sometimes when you want to say something you want to express, but you can't find the words, then it becomes a challenge. And then when you really have something to say, it becomes a challenge to listen, right? So situational. Sometimes it becomes difficult. Sometimes it becomes easier. But I think recognizing the situation that you're in, that emotion that you're in, and finding out the steps on how to overcome that challenge. And I think that's what we're going to be doing today. And so I
Okay.
think
Yeah. So I think we're pretty much ready to get into our topic discussion. So again, we're gonna wrap up our kickoff chat segment there. Thank you to everyone that participated. That's been today's kickoff chat. Can we have our closing bumper?
Our icebreakers. This is our live storm. Let us know if it's something that you're willing to take up as a
Kickoff chat.
all right. And so before we continue with our main topic conversation for today, we're going into play our next two INC original music. First song will be Darating, and the following song will be If That's What It Takes. So please continue to stay with us as we continue on our topic. But first, let's go into our second music break.
Mundong ating kinalalagay, di nabubuti pa. Problema'y malubha, huwag tayong padadaig. Tayo'y magtalaga sa ating mga pagsamba. Ating hawakang mahigpit ang ating pag-asa. Ang panahon ng katuparan ng ating katubusan. Kaligtasan natin ay makakamtan, ilakak ang pag-asa sa biyaya'y darating. Darating, darating, biyaya'y darating. Pagdating ni Jesus ay ating hintayin. Darating, Pagdating ni Jesus ay ating kakamtin. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Habang ating hinihintay, araw na mapalad, sa kabutihan ay lagi nang masupungan. Magbagong buhay lagi na tularan si Jesus. Sumunod ng lubos, bigyan kasiyahan ng Ama. Ang panahon ng katuparan ng ating katapusan, kaligtasan natin ay magkukumpleto kung pag-asa sa piyang darating. Darating, darating, biyaya'y darating. Pagdating ni Jesus ay ating hintayin. Darating, darating, biyaya'y darating. Pagdating ni Jesus ay ating kakamtin.
Tunay na kapayapaan ating makakamtan. Pagsapit ng araw ng ating kaligtasan. Darating, darating, biyaya'y darating. Pagdating ni Jesus ay ating hintayin. Darating, darating, biyaya'y darating. Pagdating ni Jesus ay ating kakamtin. Ang panahon ng katuparan ng ating katubusan. Kaligtasan natin ay magkakamtan, nilakap ang pag-asa. Sabi ay darating, 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 biyaya'y darating. Pagdating ni Jesus ay ating magkakamtin. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Each night and day to you, dear Father, I pray. I haven't yet seen your answer, but I know that I will someday. It's so hard to take heart when trials break me apart. Yet through it all, you've helped me make it this far. Oh Lord, I'm still holding on. Lord, it's only by your grace that I can ever go on. Though the world wants me to stop, I won't give up, 'cause you inspire me by your love. I'll serve you even better. I love you more than ever. I won't lose faith in you. I will wait. I'll hope when hope is gone. Give my all to carry on. It's gonna be worth the wait, if that's what it takes. I won't complain, my waiting won't be in vain, if it makes me a holier man. By the end of the day, I will prove I'll be true. No matter what I go through, I will forever be faithful to you. You'll see, I'm still holding on. Lord, it's only by your grace that I can ever go on. Though the world wants me to stop, I won't give up, 'cause you inspire me by your love. I'll serve you even better. I love you more than ever. I won't lose faith in you. I will wait. I'll hope when hope is gone. Give my all to carry on. It's gonna be worth the wait, if that's what it takes. me to be strong. You know I'll do whatever it takes, if that's what it's gonna take. I'll serve you even better, I'll love you more than ever. I won't lose faith in you, I will wait. I'll hope when hope is gone, give my all to carry on. It's gonna be worth the wait, if that's what it takes. Each night and day to you, dear Father, I pray. I haven't yet seen your answer, but I know that I will someday.
Today, we will be exploring what it really means to connect beyond the words, such as our topic for today. And, communication or good communication is a two-way street. So it takes two. And earlier, we talked about whether we were comfortable with listening more or speaking up more about our emotions or the situation. So, you know, um, why do you think there are times where it is hard to truly express what you're feeling or even thinking in that situation? Let's start with Henry.
So in the situation where you're trying to express yourself, it depends on how you feel. So I said the term earlier, emotional hijacking. And before I answer that question, let me give an example because I worked in the field of customer service at a call center before. At a call center, when someone calls you about a problem, usually they're not happy, right? I think if anyone works in customer service, we always are, especially when you're just starting, you're afraid to get the customer who's really angry, right? There's a timidness to someone who's angry because you know they're gonna be speaking from a place where you're not always gonna be able to solve the problem. And it's the term that we learned was emotional hijack, right? Emotions take over a person's mind, and it can be truly difficult to express what they're feeling. Well, for one, it's difficult to express why they're feeling that way. So they wouldn't be able to get the words out as to what's causing them to feel that way. And when you're taken over by emotion, the right words don't always come out, and the correct information isn't clearly displayed. And it becomes even harder when you try to conceal it, or for someone who is trying to uh, who's learning to control their emotions. The right the right things, the right information is not always going to be portrayed, and sometimes they can even say another problem that's distracting their mind, right? So it can be really difficult to truly express what you're feeling because you're just taken over by emotion. And when you're taken over, especially in a certain degree of emotion, it's hard to think logically. Where you're thinking with your feelings, you're not thinking with your mind. And so that's why I think it can be difficult to express what you're feeling.
Yeah, I can totally um, understand that because when we do try to speak up, sometimes it's when like something is either wrong or you're trying to share something really happy or happy news, right? And both of them are really like strong emotions, happiness, and sometimes anger. So I totally understand that point of view, and it's true. Like I feel like we've all experienced that so far, either from our point of view or from like a second party talking to us in that way. So it is true that sometimes our emotions can cloud our judgment or how we communicate such thing to others. But I feel like as human beings, it is normal to feel those feelings, and sometimes even feel overwhelmed by those strong feelings. So yeah, I feel like that's where empathy goes um, into place when it comes to that. But yes, Jay, would you like to add something to that?
I mean, mine's kind of I think I can definitely relate to the whole emotional hijacking thing because when you're emotional and you're in a situation when you're trying to express that you are, you feel offended, you feel angry, there's like negative emotions involved, right? It's very hard to control your emotions if you never learned how to do it before. So I think many times for me, what I've realized is just I think it's got something to do with me being more of an introvert, a bit more shy, a bit hesitant to have conflict or having those tough conversations with people like that. Even from a young age, when I was still like, single digit age, right? I didn't know how to when like when you're a kid and you get into like a disagreement with someone over a toy or a candy or something like that, you just end up crying because you don't know how to express what you're feeling. And if that doesn't develop from a young age or over time, I think it carries on to being an adult. That it makes it hard for you to express really what you're feeling, and maybe you just can't find the words. Maybe you don't want to get into the difficult conversation with someone. It's like, oh, well, why do you think that way? I didn't mean it like that, and kind of like it becomes like it kind of becomes a defensive, you're trying to defend yourself but then you don't know how to. So I think it's a lack of skills to be able to express what you're feeling. And again, because I was more of a child that was introverted, it was harder for me to step out of that comfort zone and try to tell someone, hey, you did me wrong, right? Or you did something wrong to me. So I think it's got something to do with that. It's like, I see now, I know a few people now, myself included, that have struggled even in the young adult age and an adult now of still being able to express what you're feeling to someone because it's hard, right? It's difficult to have a difficult conversation when it's got to do with negative emotions. It's hard for you to bring that up with someone. And especially if you don't know how to do it in the first place, how are you going to do that? It's you just don't have the life skills to be able to do it properly, to be able to do it so that you're working it out. Usually you just kind of like hide it, you conceal it, all right? And that's kind of like one of the things for me. It's like it's hard to express because you just never got taught how to express it in the right way so that you can resolve it. It's always easier to just hide it and just keep it to yourself, put it under the rug and like never think about it again. But I'm sure that's going to come out later in our conversation what happens if you just hold everything in for too long. But yeah,
If I can
that's
add to
the one
that,
for me.
I wanted to add to that a little bit. I want to flip it a little bit, and just in terms of how to ensure that we understand emotional hijacking. Have we ever? You may have already seen it. Have you ever seen someone just so happy? Let's say you did the most romantic gesture to someone, and at the end of your presentation or your song, or whether you get on one knee and you're about to propose, you don't see a smile on your fiance's face. Sometimes they just cry, right? Like, why are you crying? It's a
Yes.
hijacking that can occur not just for negative emotions or difficult situations, but even positive emotions, right? So I remember as a kid that as a young child, me and my brothers would be, oh, let's ask mom and dad when they're in a happy mood, and then maybe they're gonna give what we're asking for. Can I buy this toy? Can I buy this game? We wait for them to be in a good mood because as a kid, whether we know it or not, being in that great mood is a better chance for as a child to get the toy that you want. So it was a subconscious thought. It was a strategic thought as a child, but we maybe hijacking was not the word, but the emotional positivity of it can allow a method of trying to get the outcome of what you want, and then more so when they give you that toy or that game that you want, that's the emotion that you become so happy, you're overjoyed, and you can't really tell to your parents how thankful you are. So, and you express yourself sometimes in both good and bad situations, or have the difficulty to express yourself in those situations.
I can totally understand that point of view as well, because it's true that like you have better chances at um, getting what you want when someone is in a better mood, and you also need to be able to read the room, or like you know, if the situation is the a great timing to ask. But yes, I also like what Jay mentioned earlier about, like, when someone is not accustomed to doing such thing, because most of the time when there's like a misunderstanding, or you're trying to bring something up, yeah, it's not an easy thing to do, and it really depends on the person that you're trying to approach as well, right? Because you wouldn't know how they would react to that, and I feel like that's why we always seek for the perfect moment to say something or do something, right? Uh, and with that said, I feel like, as I mentioned earlier, empathy is really one of the key elements when it comes to reconciliation, or trying to deal with a difficult situation with a second party. And with that said, what does listening with empathy mean for each and one of you? Like, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when it comes to that, Jay?
For me, listening with empathy is really, it's been really hard from my younger age, right? I'm only like trying to learn it because I remember growing up, my parents and people, right, that I looked up to, they would always say, you should try to empathize with them. You should try to listen with empathy. And as a kid, or like, even like a young teenager, many times you don't know exactly what that means, like like the how of listening with empathy. So to me now, like, obviously going through our own situations, our own challenges, we've kind of learned over the years what it means to listen with empathy. So I know for me, one of the things, and I'm sure there's a few more that'll come out there from our live chat, because they're sharing a lot of things right now. Listening with empathy is avoiding dismissing what the other person is feeling or what they're trying to say, right? Especially if it's someone, like, I just remember growing up, whenever I would try to express why I was sad, there was a lot of dismissive phrases, like, oh, don't feel that way, or you'll get over it, or you're tough. Like how when a kid falls down, and like a young kid, when he falls down, usually I hear many parents go, oh, get up, you're strong, don't worry about it, get up, right? That's kind of like what you hear. And it's like the kid's crying, he's hurt, but you're just telling, don't cry, don't cry, because you're strong. You're a big boy, you're a big girl. It's like, you shouldn't cry. It's like a lot of those dismissive phrases when you're not giving them a chance to process what they're feeling, because we're human beings too, right? Like, as much as we have our Christian values and everything else, we feel sadness, we feel, fear, we feel like all of these emotions, we feel that. And I think it's important that we don't dismiss it if somebody is feeling it. Like, it's okay to let them know that that's a normal reaction, a normal feeling to feel that way. And then, so that you can process it and move past it. What you don't want to do is dwell in it. Because I've realized when I didn't get to process why I was feeling a certain way, when somebody did something wrong to me, when somebody, when I'm feeling jealous, and all, like, when I didn't get to process that and learn how to process it, like, why am I feeling that? Like, is that the right thing to be feeling? Should I be doing, like, if I didn't get to process it, it just, like, I ended up overthinking. And I think that's probably one of the things why I became an introvert, because I didn't want to hurt other people's feelings. I didn't know how to bring it up with them. I didn't know the right words to say. I kept it to myself, and I just wanted to be like, oh, I'm sure it's my fault, right? And you end up blaming yourself. So listening with empathy is definitely listening to care, right? Listening to care and not dismissing what they're feeling. If somebody's sad because something sad happened, then it's okay to feel sad, right? And you shouldn't say, don't be sad, right? If somebody is laughing, you're not going to tell them, don't laugh. right? Something funny's happened. If somebody like what Henry, I like Henry's example earlier. You did this whole act of love to show your love for someone so that you can propose to them, and you're expecting them to be happy, but they're crying, but it's happy tears. You're not gonna tell them don't cry, right? It's okay to feel the emotions. So I think that's one thing for me that I've learned over my experiences. Don't use dismissive phrases on anything. And I think it should start from a young age. Like if somebody hurt themselves, it's okay to tell them, oh, you fell down, you hurt yourself. That's why, you're crying. Don't just, I feel like it's not right to tell them, don't cry. You're better than that, or you're stronger than that. Like, that's something that should come later on because they'll figure it out. But I think it helps to start the learning of processing your emotion. Anyway, that's just my own opinion there. That's what I've experienced, Belle.
I can totally agree with what you mentioned because it's true when you are feeling hurt or you're feeling angry or even sad, you want to feel acknowledged. So for me, listening with empathy is feeling acknowledged emotionally because you are opening up or you are showing emotions or you are showing that vulnerability to someone, right? So I totally agree with not feeling uh, not using those dismissive words to belittle or even overlook the person's problem because if that was you, like you wouldn't want to hear that when you're hurting, right? Or when you're so happy that like the other people don't feel as happy as you and they just try to dismiss it, uh just um just go along with that, and it's okay to feel those emotions. So yes, I feel like that is something that each and one of us can see from both the other person's point of view and ours, because if we were that person and we would be telling them those words, then we wouldn't feel as comforted, right? So yeah, I totally agree with that, Jay, so thank you for sharing that. But Henry, what about you? Like, what would you like to, add to this?
So the thing when I think of empathy is, so I'm the bunso. I'm the youngest, and as the bunso, you're. This is a you want to call it a confession. I used to cry a lot, right? Uh, for the littlest thing, I would cry. And that doesn't mean I do that now, but basically what I'm saying is, as the bunso, you need the most compassion. Sadly, is that sadly might be a good thing because you get the most hugs. I think from all of the, if you have a siblings, the youngest needs the most hugs because you have more family members to provide the hugs. And why do I say that? Because the empathy that I would get from my parents, my older brothers, is when I would cry, all they would really have to do is give me a hug. I saw Kuya Rod say that, offer a hug as a way to provide empathy. The goal for showing empathy is to make that person not feel alone. Uh, and it's a much greater bonus to also have the person feel understood. So when you're empathetic to someone, you make them feel as if they're not facing that sadness alone, not facing even that happiness alone. Multiple emotions we experience from the events that happen to us, if we face it alone, it can make us be more amplified in that emotion, especially sadness or difficult situations when you feel like you're not being understood. The moment finally you feel someone understands you and even is at that same level of that emotion and they empathize of where you're at, then you feel stronger and you feel like you're at a better place of uh, sanity. Your mind, your logic, your ability to express becomes way much more clearer. And then you can again find a way to achieve that peace or to reach a solution or to help you to get out of whatever situation that you're in. We're going to feel emotions. We can never avoid the initial reaction and response to the emotion. But sometimes just having someone there to remind you that you're not alone. Like for my daughter, when she falls down and she cries, she's 7 years old, but even when she was younger, and even now, when she cries, all I have to do is just pick her up and give her a hug, and I don't have to say anything. And then she feels that daddy's there for her, and it stops her from crying. And she can talk normal, and she can laugh. She can make jokes again. It's almost like, where does happiness come from? She just needs that reminder that she's not alone. So that's what, to me, that's what empathy is.
That's a great reminder, right? Like just basically making sure that person feels like somebody cares for them, like they're not alone, somebody's caring for them, somebody loves them, right? And that again, that ties into a lot of things. Actually, before we move on to the next part of this conversation that we've got here, let me read a few of the comments that we've got from Elijah, because they've been sharing a lot from the first part when we were asking the question of why do you think it can be difficult to express what you're feeling. A few responses here from Zenaida. She shares with us struggling to express thoughts and feelings can stem from various factors. She says, including fear of judgment, worrying about how others will perceive you, can inhibit openness, lack of vocabulary. That's like me as well. I don't know how to put the right words together to form the sentences. Sometimes, she says, people may not have the words to articulate their emotions effectively. Exactly what I was saying, right? I had that issue as well. I didn't know how to articulate my emotions and not make it worse at the same time as well, not make the situation worse. Rachel, in Essential, shares with us, it can be difficult to express your feelings because you are thinking carefully if the words you will say is right. You don't want to hurt someone's feelings. We may have different opinions regarding certain topics. She says, working in the medical field, you learn to be empathetic, caring, and try to understand. Rod also shares, truly not having the correct words to say makes it difficult. So I think we've heard a lot that many people, one of the things that they find is knowing what the right words, right? Knowing how to approach it and say the right words. When emotions take over, he says, it's really hard. You need to take a breath and step out for a little bit just in case damaging words might come out. And he's also got an acronym here, Beyond the Words. He's put the actual acronym for our topic title, Beyond the Words, which is before expressing your opinions needed, determining that how emotions will outcome really deserves speculation. And he says you really need to think about what you're going to say before you speak, right? You have to be careful as well that you don't make the matters worse and you don't say the wrong things. Hey, Paul shares with us here. Hello, Paul. Paul Jacob Erase says, it can be difficult to express how you truly feel because of anxiety. You worry how the other person might perceive what you've told them, and you may not know how to tell them properly. And this part about listening with empathy, Zenaida shares, empathic listening is the practice of being attentive and responsive to others' input during conversation. Rod shares feeling them out, seeing their body language, how they're taking it. You can also offer a hug and think about how you want people to communicate with you. And Rachel says trying to understand that the other person and acknowledge what they are feeling. One doesn't know what the person is going through at that time. Sometimes they just need someone to be there to listen. And Jonah Rubik shares, sometimes you don't want to show your emotions or being vulnerable. Because I find that that's also true for me. It's very hard to sometimes to show vulnerability, to show that you're sad, to show that, you're feeling whatever. It's hard to talk about that. Especially for guys, that's just my own personal opinion. I think it's harder for us to talk about feelings or be vulnerable because many reasons, but from my own point of view, it could be like a sign of weakness for a guy to talk about their feelings, but it's very, very healthy because that's where a lot of health concerns come through from men, right? Like you hear about that, doctors talk about that, the importance of even men processing and talking about their feelings to, obviously the right people, the right person. It's important to process that as well so that they don't feel alone. But yeah, that's what our live chat are sharing, Belle.
I feel like a lot of you were able to share also the various reasons why some might, not feel as comfortable to opening up. And I love that all of you were explaining certain ways, to make someone feel heard or comforted with empathy. So with that said, what are some practical ways that you can make someone feel heard or valued? Some other ways, since some ways were already shared with us. Let's see, Henry.
So to make someone feel heard, uh, the goal to make someone feel heard is to relieve them of their emotion and to bring them out of uh, the state of their mind. You want them to regain the clarity of their mind. So how do you make someone feel relief? Uh, Listen, and that's where the empathy comes in. You need to we need to allow that again, empathy, giving them a hug, listening to what they're going through, not dismissing their emotion. uh that is something that makes a person feel heard and valued. It's amazing what a hug can do, and that close contact of, when you hug someone, it's heart to heart. It's your hearts are beating in a synchronous beat, so that you know you are together with someone. To me, hugs mean a lot. I love hugging people. Coming from Hawaii, hugging is the natural way to say hi. It's not the hello. No, you go give them a big hug. It's a way to make someone feel heard, to feel acknowledged, even before the conversation. You acknowledge someone with a nice warm hug, and before you leave, you give them again another warm hug, as to seal that this interaction between us, it means something to me. So you make them feel as not just heard, valued, but seen, and they mean something to you. So that's what I think.
Oh, that's really lovely. I myself also love hugs. So when you mentioned that, I was like, oh, like that's really nice because I've never been to Hawaii either. So I'm like, oh, like maybe one day. But yes. What about you, Jay? What would you like to add on to it?
I mean, making others feel heard and valued. I'm speaking from my own point of view because I feel like there's been many experiences when I was younger. I feel like, nobody's hearing me or no one's listening. But what I'm learning now, especially with our daughter, she's 7 years old. And one of the things that helps, that we've realized that helps on us, like making sure that she knows that we're hearing her and that we're valuing, what she's trying to say, is eye contact, right? Being present and eye contact. I totally agree with what Henry said about the hugs as well. Like I'm a hug type of person. My daughter loves hugs when she becomes emotionally dysregulated. So definitely the other thing that I will add there is eye contact with the person, like being present, right? If you want to make other people feel that they're valued, that they're being heard when they're speaking, when you're having a conversation, right? When they're trying to tell you something, a joke, or just like what's going on with their life, eye contact. We get so easily distracted with so many things, especially with our smartphones, right? Notifications going off, a ding here, like, it vibrates because you get a message, right? And you just get distracted and you pick it up, but you're in the middle of a conversation. Like be present, be in the moment, look them in the eye. Just the basics of listening, really, to make them feel heard. And really, apart from that, again, avoid like using dismissive phrases, like I said earlier. Like if they're sharing something on what they're feeling, how work is going, how their past month is, if it's like a catch up that you've had, it's like, oh, this is what's been happening in my life. Don't just dismiss the things that are the struggles, right? You gotta, it's nice when you want to find out more. So try to ask questions so that they can get deeper, and that helps to build a stronger bond. And you're not just listening so that you can respond, right? Like so that's one of the topic we've had before here on Faith and Melody, where you shouldn't be just listening to someone to get ready to respond straight away. And all you're thinking about is not what they're saying; it's like what you're going to say next, right? Whereas really, to make others feel heard, it should really be trying to find out more about them. Try to ask more why, open-ended questions, right? Of like why that was hard, why that was fun, what did you enjoy about this? Like it helps to build the connection a lot, to be a lot more stronger when you're when you're actually invested to know the person, right? Not just the facts, so that you can say something else about you, you know. So yeah, that's one for me.
Thank you so much for sharing that as well. I agree that being present really makes a difference. It doesn't have to be you don't have to say much, but as long as the other person knows that you're actually listening to them and you're not listening to answer, like that's another thing, right? Because sometimes we're so accustomed to like, oh yeah, like let me fix that for you, or like your problem solving skills, like just like activate and you're just like ready to give them um answers or like solutions to some problems that they maybe they like already figure it out and they just want to feel uh like they're seen, or they just want to vent out to you. So yes, I totally agree with that. And when you mentioned about eye contact, I know that is like such a basic manner to do while listening, but like nowadays when like there's so much technology around us and we're so accustomed to having our phones all the time, I feel like eye contact is something that really makes a difference. Because you wouldn't want to open up to someone and they're just on their phone, right? And you're talking to them and they're saying, yeah, yes, I'm listening, but then they're still using their phone, right? So I totally agree with that. And hopefully like that's implemented more, especially nowadays, since we live in such a digital age. But I can see here in live chat our Ohana there that shared some other tips to make someone feel heard or even valued. Here Rod said, sharing your time, especially if it's at odd hours, be there for them. Listen intently and offer kindness thoughtfully. And he also shared with us another acronym, hug, Hawaii's ultimate gift. So hopefully I'll get to experience that in Hawaii, I don't know, sometime soon, or just sometime in this lifetime. And also, he said here, invest your time in their happiness. And that's true. And time is something that we can never get back, So when we do give some time to someone, that really means that, we should make the best of it, make the most of it, since we can never take it back. And here, Paul said, make time for that person, check in on them, offer your help or advice. And Rachel here said, actively listening to them while maintaining eye contact. Giving them a hug, letting them also know if you ever need a friend or need help, I'm here for you. And Zenaida Navarrete said, at the interpersonal level, people feel heard when they have a voice and um, and receive attention, empathy, and respect. So thank you so much. Everyone who was able to share those kind of words with us. And I'm glad that, this topic, this discussion is really getting deeper and deeper. And yes, but of course, since we are on Faith and Melody, it's not only talks about faith, we also listen to music, right? So Jay, why don't you introduce the next couple of songs?
Yes, we've got a lot more to talk about, but before we continue on with the rest of our discussion, we're going to take a quick musical break. The next two songs that we'll be listening to, Bad Days Are Gone, and the second song, I Wanna Live. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Days are gone. Be ready for the abundance to come. Receive the reward for having courage to keep moving forward. Hey, oh, hey, the pains you had. Not every day you feel alone and sad. Better moments will arrive. This is the time to be revived. You're coming back from all the grieving. You look back one day and laugh. You withstood all the pain, and now it's your turn to harvest your grain. Take your not every day you feel alone and sad. Better moments will arrive. This is the time to be revived. No matter how many times you stumble, break, fall apart or crumble, have faith and believe that you can conquer them all. Sing, hey, oh, hey, 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 oh, hey, hey. Oh, sing with me, hey, oh, hey, yeah. Oh, let me sing, hey, oh, hey, yeah. Don't dwell upon all the things you had. Not every day you feel alone and sad. Better moments will arrive. This is the time to be revived. Bad days are gone. Not every day you feel alone and sad. Better moments will arrive. This is the time to be revived.
At the very end, I want to live the true life, 'cause the promise of God to give the price is waiting for me. On that day, it's waiting for me. As I strive for the prize, I'll keep holding on. The prize is yet to come. True life in the end, I need to win. I need to win the prize at the very end. Oh, I wanna live. I wanna live. I got the Father's love, and it keeps me going. Gotta complete the race. No, so when strength to run the race completely. Keep marching on. Keep fighting till the battle is won. Keep holding tightly, won't let go. Keep waiting for the prize. I wanna live.
This is INC Radio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
From September 22 to 26, we will be talking about the life's hard truths. Growth happens when we face reality honestly, without sugarcoating or avoiding difficult facts. September 22, Monday, not everyone will like you, and that's okay. September 23, Tuesday, life isn't fair, and that's the fun part. September 24, Wednesday, you can control everything. September 25, Thursday, you are not as busy as you think. September 26, Friday, nobody owes you anything. Join the discussion every Monday to Friday, 10 p.m. Philippine Standard Time, only here on INC Radio, the next level you. Let us aim for our 2.0 version, an episode at a time. See you there!
And welcome back to our next segment where we are going to talk about miscommunication. Sadly, miscommunication does happen. No one intends to miscommunicate. It's just sometimes in the midst of our conversations when we try to deliver a message, maybe it doesn't come so clearly because there are other aspects of communicating a message that when you need to read between the lines, the message isn't delivered so clearly. And so, whether you're the one trying to deliver a message or the one receiving the message, something can get in the way. Maybe it's outside noise, maybe it's distractions, but there are some feelings that happen in the middle of miscommunication. So, our question to those who are with us today, in your opinion, what are some signs that someone might feel unheard or misunderstood? So, whether you are the one who is sending a message and you see that you're misunderstood, or you're the one who received the message, or you thought you received the message, and then the other person is maybe showing certain uh, nonverbal signals. So, Jay, I want to ask you first because you do mention that when you grew up, certain events, and it's the way that naturally in our culture we grew up in a certain way, and we're told we want to express ourselves sometimes, and it doesn't always come up clear. So, in your opinion, what are some signs that someone might feel unheard or misunderstood, especially in your case?
For me, it would be frustration, right? I think initially, if you're trying to say something and you feel like the other person didn't listen, right? You told them clearly, or you're trying to explain something, but then they still do something wrong, right? You feel frustrated. It's like, I just told them this. It's like, why are they still doing it that way? So usually frustration is one of the things that I would feel. So I think that's you gotta keep an eye out for that. If somebody's trying to explain to you something and they go, "Oh yeah, yeah, I got it," and then you come back and they're like frustrated, it's like maybe I didn't hear them correctly, or maybe I wasn't listening, or as present as I should have been. I get that sometimes where I pop down to the shops just to buy some um, groceries, and I come back and then it's like, why did you only buy one of this? It's like you should have, I asked you to buy like a packet, but you only bought like one onion. There's like a bag of onions. It's like, oh, but the list says onion. It's like, who buys one onion? But anyway, miscommunication, misunderstandings, things like that, it happens. So usually if you see the other person feeling frustrated or annoyed, right, that could be a sign that they haven't been heard properly. For me personally, what ends up happening as well is if it happens often enough, again, just for the fact that in the past, I found it hard to explain and to articulate what I'm feeling, and it's hard, or it's kind of like difficult to be vulnerable or even have difficult conversations with people, telling them that, hey, this wrong, and I've told you so many times already. If you're not that type of person to approach someone and point out their mistakes, it just ends up becoming like you just lose energy and you just become withdrawn, or you just shut off from that communication. From you just sort of like sit back, you just go away, and just like I give up almost. You just like, yep, okay, never mind, because you're not able to talk through it, right, and articulate what you're feeling. So those are two things that I've realized, that I've experienced, or that I've come across, or has happened to me. It's either you're feeling frustrated, or the other person feels frustrated because you didn't listen, or they become withdrawn, shut off, they give up, and they don't really want to explain themselves anymore. And then now you're ready to listen. It's like now you're ready to listen. And then you go to them, okay, I'm listening now. Like, tell me what it is. It's like, no, never mind. It's too late. And then they just get, the silent treatment. Have you ever had that? But yeah, those are two things that I've realized for me when somebody starts realizing that they're not being heard correctly because you're distracted with something else.
And so I just want to say that with that frustration, it's not necessarily a bad thing to have that initial frustration. It's because there was a goal to deliver a message, and that message wasn't received. So I'll briefly say that as a leader at work, sometimes I have to relay an instruction or relay a target, and then when you see the instruction or target going off in a different direction, I said to walk left, not right. Sometimes it's more specific, and you would think it's clear, and so you have to rethink. You start to wonder, what did I say incorrectly, or was I not clear? You start to question yourself, right? And then for me, when I'm not understood, it's like, what 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 did I say? You start to second guess yourself. So Belle, what would how would you feel uh in terms of what Jay said and that level of frustration? um how do you I guess, do you ever examine yourself in terms of when you try to deliver a message and you start to second guess yourself?
Yeah, I feel like when it comes to that, feeling frustrated because you're not feeling seen, I've experienced that. And I don't know, I can I can actually say that, as someone who is really uh empathetic, and someone who really tries to understand the other party most of the time, the moment where you like try to open up and they don't give you the comfort, I mean, I know that's not transactional. First of all, I know that is not transactional, but I feel like when you've always been the one so understanding of the other, and you never feel seen or understood by the other person that you always try to understand, I feel like the frustration there is valid, because you can't be the only one like giving so much empathy or even sympathy, like feeling for them, feeling the same feelings as them, and like uh sharing that overwhelming feeling of, I don't know, frustration or hurt even. um and then just feeling so deprived of their support or comfort when it comes to you. I feel like that's something that I've experienced a few times. But yeah, I can totally understand when Jay expressed that. And for me also, I feel like when someone doesn't feel understood, they really go more distant from you, or they act more cold or more distant in a way where, like, if you guys were friends, sometimes, like, if there's like a misunderstanding and you're not even aware, or they're not even aware, um there's just this you know not silence, but there's just a different mood to it. You don't feel as close to them, or I don't know. I think it just happens when it comes to that, because when you're really feeling emotional, I feel like your judgment could be clouded most of the times. So for me as a person, I always try to give the benefit of the doubt. But the fact that sometimes when it comes to you, like you're not giving that, it's totally like frustrating, as Jay mentioned. But at the end of the day, as long as um you know your intentions are pure, then it should go well, whether or not they want to understand you or not. Henry and Jay.
And we can't dismiss the feelings of frustration. Of course, there are different severities to frustration. Um, there's a term I hear at work, that a message sent isn't always a message received. And so, as that message is being sent across, how was that message being sent across? So, first, looking at the sender's perspective, uh, when we take speech classes, for me, when I took speech classes, there are ways to deliver a message with clarity, right? Is I've learned to speak with my hands, so that as I speak with my hands, there's emphasis on key words. And so you'll notice with those who speak, when they want to emphasize something, they try to draw it with their hands. It clearly makes the delivery as almost as clear as possible. And so the now let's go switch to the receiver side, the one who receives the message. They might be distracted with their own uh, problems, or maybe their own victories. And so the message sent, message received, right? And just so happens, Ate Des reminded me that this was Thursday's topic of Faith and Melody, message received, right? Is that when you receive the message, are you present? Are you there? Because the one who is receiving the message, if they are not with you, um, sometimes we just have to catch their attention. Sometimes we just have to ensure that they're listening. Or if you're the one who is listening, are you present? Uh, are you talking to Belle and you're making her feel sad because she's trying to tell you something, and you're not fully engaged, and so you made her feel sad. Um, but so there's two sides of it. There's really just the sender and receiver, that communication. It hurts when you pass the ball and they don't pass the ball back for confirmation. And so, but those misunderstandings do happen. And so, let's go to our second question in relation to this, because, Belle did mention this earlier, that uh, when you're misunderstood, and in those miscommunication scenarios, those situations, sometimes the conversation or the feeling can be tense between two individuals. So, next question to all of those in chat: how do you respond in love when misunderstood, or when a conversation turns tense? I think we've all had those situations as adults, as as we grow older, especially as parents. We have these interactions. We face these unfortunate situations where miscommunication happens. But our response can make the difference as to making things better or making things worse. So, Jay, let me ask you first. In those tense situations, how do you respond in love when misunderstood, or when a conversation turns tense?
I'm going to speak as well from like a parent's point of view, especially having a 7-year-old. And I think it really can also be similar to like when you're dealing with any friendships or any other connections that you might have. What's important is your goal is to build the connection, not tear it down, right? You want to make it build, be stronger, because it's what's most important. So from a starting point, if you think like they're misunderstanding you, or you've been misunderstood, or whatever the misunderstandings are, the conversation that you're having is becoming tense, right? Because of frustrations or whatever else is there that's included. Um, if you realize, and it's important to like be aware, if you realize that you are at fault with something, maybe because, yeah, you were distracted, you didn't receive the message, right? You maybe skimmed through it, you were looking through your phone when they were trying to give you the instructions, right? They're trying to tell you about their day, and you were just distracted with what's on TV or something like that. You're trying to listen to them, but you have like a wireless earpiece in one of your ears, so you're listening to something else while you're listening to them. It's like, how are you paying attention? If you did do something wrong, if it was really because you were not present, I think it's important to play the role of admitting to your fault instead of trying to be defensive of your fault. It's like, hey, it's not my fault or whatever like that, because you're not able to build the relationship if you're just fighting back, right? It's always important that one person admits to their fault first, because from my experience, if you admit that you did something wrong, right, it lowers the tension in the conversation, right? It drops it off. It helps to lower their guard, because once the conversation gets tense, you put your guard up, they put their guard up, everyone's got their guard up, right? And everyone's throwing punches, and everyone's trying to fight back and defend, right? It's important that humility comes into play, being humble, especially if you know that, hey, maybe I wasn't listening as intently as I should have, or maybe I wasn't as present as I should have been, right? And admitting to that and saying it honestly and saying it like, from the heart, not saying it like boastfully or anything else, but admitting to it in a humble way. It helps to put the other person's guard down and to at least release the tension a little bit, because at least you're working towards admitting and trying to build in the relationship. And that comes from a place of trust. I think it was said earlier, I can't remember who said it in chat, right? One of our Ohana said that it's hard to be vulnerable, but admitting to if you did something wrong, that's being vulnerable, but it's also important because it shows that you care, right? Because you don't do that with everyone, right? You do that with people that you trust, people that you want to you have respect for. It comes from a place of honor, right? You're showing that you have integrity, that, hey, I'm not just trying to, blame everything on you. Like, I also have part to blame, right? It takes two people to make a conversation, it takes two people for a conversation to turn tense. So somebody should start admitting something. So that's what it is. You do it from a place of kindness, of love, be calm about it. Really, I think that's kind of like a good starting point to help show love when you are having a tense conversation with someone.
So when you have a tense conversation with someone, you said it on the spot. When it's coming from a place of love, a place of peace, uh, that's the best place to start. And for me, I think if ever we speak in a tense situation from anger, 99.999% of the time is probably not the right response in a tense situation to respond with anger. Uh, it's best to respond from a place of peace. So it was mentioned in chat, take a break and try again at a different time. The power of a pause, even in communication, even when you're trying to emphasize something, when you can't think clearly because you're emotionally hijacked at a situation when a conversation turns tense, or not even a conversation, but a situation between two people. Um, when you thought the message was delivered clearly and you want to re engage in the conversation, maybe pause for a bit and allow yourself to regain the clarity of mind, because the goal is to speak from love, especially with the one who is probably the most nearest and dearest to you in your family or your really close friend, any ohana that you find uh, close to you, important to you, to pause and to ensure that the next time you have that conversation, it comes from a place of peace. Because, as Jay said, the relationship is very important. That sometimes that tense situation is crucial to making a decision to make it better or to make it worse. Nobody wants to make it worse, but in a situation where it becomes so tense and it's hard to think, that we are not really in control with our logic. We're not in the best place to speak. So let's calm down. Take deep breaths. Pause for a second. Maybe drink some water. Maybe have dinner. Maybe we forgot our dinner. And hangry. That's the term that we all know, is that sometimes when you're not rested, you're not the best of you. And we want to be sure that you are always at your best, even when dealing with a difficult situation. Belle, do we have any responses from our questions?
I can see here our Ohana in our live chat saying a few words over here. We have Das Asenas, our executive producer, saying, take a break and try again a different time. And we also have Rod saying, at times, in tense situations, we sometimes need to humble ourselves and just say, okay, respectfully, say we need to take a breather and keep calm and do everything with love. And Paul here said, speak to the person privately once you've had some time to think. Apologize for the misunderstanding. Be honest, clear, and tactful. And Mario Calvello said here, um, keep calm. And he also added here, prayer first before starting any conversation with colleagues. And also here joining us to support us, we have Kathleya de Guzman, one of our hosts here on INCRadio Faith and Melody, saying, hello everyone, greetings from um, New Jersey. And yes, I feel like so far, everyone has been trying to, try to look at the positive side of things, especially like when responding with love and responding with respect when it comes to that. But I feel like in my personal experience, sometimes it is really hard, especially when you're the one being misunderstood or the one being done wrong, because like I don't know, like certain people, uh I don't know, they have their ways to approach someone when it comes to a misunderstanding, right? And that's where empathy and really like giving the benefit of the doubt comes into play. And I feel like at the end of the day, as long as you know that your intentions are pure and your intention is to reconcile, it doesn't really matter if the other person doesn't have the same heart as you sometimes, because we cannot expect everyone to have the same heart as us. As much as possible, of course, like we'd like to have that, of course. We'd like to be on the same page of things, or we'd like to receive as much as we give to another person, right? But most of the time, at least, in this world, that doesn't really happen as much as we would like to. So I feel like as long as you move with faith and you move with love, and you're guided by our Almighty God, and everything that you feel, uh, every negative feeling that you have, can be dissolved after that talk with the other person, then at least you know that you did your part. And with that said, I feel like you know as long as we pray as well. I love what Mario Calvello mentioned there about praying before starting any conversation, and that's true, because if you're not moving with love and with faith and with our Almighty God, then it might not turn out um, as good as you would like to, or it might not turn out the way that you would like to. So as long as you move with faith, and you show that your intentions are really pure and good, then everything else will fall into place.
And so misunderstandings arise, and yes, and we can't avoid them. But you know what I like to do sometimes is to listen to music. It calms me down. It puts me at a place of peace. And so, with that being said, what do we have next, Belle?
With that said, we'll go on to our next musical break, and we will play for you at last. But not to worry, we'll be right back.
For sure we waited so long for this day, the day that we would be together. I wrote this song to help me express how I feel. I'm filled with joy that I can finally say that after all these lonely years, finally I have that special someone, a special gift from above. I got the answer to my prayer. God blessed me with you in my life. At last I'm with you, my love, my. You've been waiting so patiently, never gave up, you still chose me, yeah. No, not even distance could shake our love, because we both believe God gave this blessing from above. After all these lonely years, finally I have that special someone, a special gift from above. I got the answer to my prayer. God bless me with you in my life. At last I'm with you, my love, my wife. At last, God bless me with you in my life. At last with you, my wife. After all these lonely years, finally I have that special someone, a special gift from above. I got the answer to my prayer. God bless me with you in my life. At last I'm with you, my love, my. After all these lonely years, finally I have that special someone, a special gift from above. I got the answer to my prayers. God bless me with you in my life. At last I'm with you, my love, my. After all these lonely years, finally I have that special someone, a special gift from above. I got the answer to my prayer. God bless me with you in my life. At last I'm with you, my love, my wife. That special someone, special gift from above. That special.
I hope you all enjoyed that last song that we just listened to. It's a really nice song. So shout out to all those the married couples out there, or maybe someone that, for those who might have a special someone, right, that they're thinking of. We know that the most meaningful listening, if we're talking about being going beyond the words, happens when we truly want to know someone's heart. And sometimes the most powerful words that we speak are backed by consistent action. So, in terms of action, like actual things that we do, in your experience, what daily actions communicate love even when the words are few? Right? What can you do? What actions can you take so you can show someone that, you know, your care, kindness, but most importantly, love, right? Even in friendship, right? There's got to be that respect and love that comes along with it. So, even when you don't even have to say any words, what are those actions that you do to help show that you care for someone, that someone is important to you? Belle, why don't we start off with you?
I feel like a way to communicate love is through acts of kindness. And if you really do know the person as well, if you know their love languages, then that's even better, because then you'll be able to cater to their needs or their wants in that way. And what better way to love someone the way they want to be loved, right? Like the way they feel loved the most. So when it comes to that, I feel like through acts of kindness like consideration and those little things. If they love food like most of us here, um I don't know, like if you see their favorite snack, oh maybe like you can get it for them and then give it to them, like, and say, oh, I thought of you, and that could make their day. So yeah, through acts of kindness and as much as possible through their love language.
I like that. I like that it's that you brought that up about knowing the other person's love language, especially if it's somebody that you care about, your friend or somebody that's special, right? You get to know like what they actually prefer, like in terms of the love language that speaks to them more, right? So if you want to speak to them, like go with that, like acts of kindness, in particular, what their love language is. How about you, Henry?
So, uh, the way that I like to show my express my care and concern, um, I can get busy at times. As a working individual, the days are long, and you come home at the same time when your children come home from school, and but all together as a family, we're always a team. So I like to always use an analogy of basketball. When you have a basketball team, imagine if I'm the one who's just doing all the dribbling, and I'm the one who's you know I don't pass the ball. What if I were to do that for the whole game, where I'm just dribbling up and down the court and I'm not distributing the ball around? So I have a team. As a family, you have a team that we have to ensure that they are in the same. We're sharing the victories together. So I pass the ball to them every so often, and sometimes I try to not hold the ball at all and let them be the one to score. Uh, and sometimes they may be having issues shooting their shot, and so I give them a little care and attention, because really at the end of the day, we are one team just trying to get through one game at a time. And so I check on the morale of my wife, check on the morale of my kids. How was your day at school? What did you eat for lunch today? Uh, who did you play with? Why did you play with them? What activities or what did you learn today? And especially, you know, our spouses, checking on them constantly. As you wake up, making sure that they have what they need before they get to work, reminding them it's time to go to work. And as they come home, preparing a meal for them, preparing a drink for them, a snack for them, and vice versa. We help each other, we check on each other constantly. So the consistency is important. It's not just a one-time thing when when you make them upset and you want to try to make it better, and then you stop doing it because you think they're happy for a moment. It's a consistent thing that has to be constantly practiced daily, and it doesn't even have to take a lot of words. It's like, in the question itself, words are few. It's just the consistency of always letting your partner know that you do care about their well-being, their morale, and you not to get so distracted in your own successes, but to also celebrate their victories as well.
I like that. Like the importance of actually being present and showing genuine interest in them, right? I like how you brought up with in terms of the relationship when it comes with like with husband and wife, with spouses and that. Because I remember when Jem and I, before we were married, just even the little things when you would greet them, it's like, "Good morning," right? You send them a text message. You say, "Have you had lunch?" Right? When you know that they're about to finish work, you send them a quick message like, "Oh, get home safely," right? Like this before you're married, right? But you're showing care and you're showing concern. How was work? You ask those messages. That doesn't stop. That shouldn't stop when you're married already. Like that should be even more. Like you're concerned about the people that you care about, right? The people that are important to you, the people that you love. And this goes through with parents as well, right? When was the last time that you messaged or you spoke to your parents, your mom, to your dad, and you asked them, "Oh, how's your week been? What's new," and things like that, right? That's important because again, they're people that you care about. So I think with anyone that you care about, anyone that's important to you, anyone that you consider as a close friend, it should be something. They say that time is precious, right? And just giving your time, a little bit of your time here and there, those butterfly touches, as they call it, a simple message here, because we all know that we're busy and we're all dealing with our own struggles and things like that. That knowing that somebody is there caring, somebody's out there wanting to know that you're okay. somebody just wants to touch base a little bit and say, hey, just thought about you and just wanted to make sure that you're doing fine, right? Those little things are always nice to receive. So especially even more so with the people that are important in your life, like what Henry said, your team, right? Because your family unit, they're your team, right? They're the one that helps you to get to where you need to go and you work together. So I think it's important that you have intention, right? If you want to show daily actions to communicate that you care, that you love, that they're important in your life, right? Don't just hide it. Don't just do it like once a year on their birthday, right? Do it to show intention. Do it with intention. And I think I saw a few messages, a few comments in our live chat about paying attention, right? Pay attention to the little details. That's very, very important. Because if they're telling you you ask them, oh, how was work today? And they're telling you all this stuff. And then if you're not listening, you don't pick up on, hey, I just learned that I like this food or whatever like that. I like this snack. So it's always those little details that's very, very important because it shows that you're paying attention, you're attentive, right? The little details matter. And that comes when you are present. So I think it's very important that you show you're present and you are present when you are in front of your loved one, the people that you care about. I don't know if Belle or Henry wants to add anything else there. Henry, did you want to add anything else?
Yeah, I mean, communication, it's constant. It's not a one-time thing. It's like a flower. I'm trying, I'm not, am I
Yes,
trying to be
I know where you're
poetic?
going with
Maybe,
this.
maybe I'm trying to be poetic again. Sorry. You know, you can't just water it one time and then leave it there. It's not gonna bloom. It's a repeated process of watering at the right time, giving it sunlight at the right time, giving it the right environment. And so it's a continuous process of growth. And over the years, for me as a husband of the past 13 years now, I'm still learning certain things about my wife. She's learning certain things about me, uh, especially now that I'm a host here on Faith and Melody. I used to be a really shy person, and it it means a lot to me to be able to now be able to speak the way that I am. It's a growth. It's a process to be able to communicate, to help others to communicate, to ensure that the message is being delivered. I never used to speak with my hands. Now I speak with my hands all the time for added emphasis, because it to ensure that the message is being delivered, to ensure there's no miscommunication, to ensure that it goes beyond the words. A full circle moment into the title of our conversation today. It goes beyond the words. That it's not just what we say; it's also the actions behind it, how you deliver the message, and the way that the receiver takes the message. We don't want to be understood. No one wants to feel that they're not valued. Nobody wants to feel that they're alone. And so, in our conversation today, we learned a lot about empathy. We learned a lot about uh, you don't have to be quick to advise and come with a response. And sometimes a hug, you know, Hawaii's ultimate gift, as Kuya Rod said. It's the value of a hug. It means so much to be able to let someone know that, no matter how tense the situation may be, just a 5-second hug can really alleviate the tension and put us to a place of peace where we can begin to speak with clarity and with faith and melody. How's that for a concluding
Love
statement?
it. I love it. I love that. So again, we've really enjoyed this discussion and everything that's been shared about this topic. It's always hard, especially if you are unfamiliar, if it's not natural for you to express what you're feeling, to express kind of like if you're feeling frustrated or trying to talk it through, having those difficult conversations, especially with people that you care about, because you don't want to make it worse. We hope that you've taken something away from everything that we've shared here today, from what Henry just said here. And before we wrap up with reading a few of the last comments that we've got there in chat and our last segment as well, let me just quickly read our Christian value that we prepared for this discussion this beautiful discussion that we've had today. Just remember that the Bible reminds us that we should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. As Christians, we are called to reflect this same love in our conversations, speaking with grace and listening with humility so that we can invite healing, understanding, and deeper connections into our relationships. With that, I'll pass it over to Henry to read any last comments from our live chat before we proceed with our verse of the week. Okay, go ahead,
So
Henry.
we have some of our comments from Kuya Rod. Acronym Actions of Love. Always choose to improve our nurturing spirit, offering firm love outwardly, very enormously. I like that. Actions of love. It's hard to be a host because I want to do a challenge of acronyms myself, but it's hard to multitask that. So I'll leave it for Kuya Rod to do that. Also, he said sending a simple text and do the dishes for them. The dishes is something that when you see, sometimes it can trigger emotions, not positive emotions. So when you do the dishes, it really feels good to see a clean sink. Mario Covello, just to say hello and how are you. It's so important to say hello and how are you. Not just to your spouse, but to anyone you come across that you know. Paul Jacob Arese, remember the small details, what they've mentioned in conversation. Example, favorite snack or something that they really want, and get it for them. And Rachel Inocencio, my wife, giving them a hug, preparing their favorite food or snack, possibly checking on in on them, even though you have busy schedules, making time for them, sending a simple message to your family or friends to check in, letting them know that you are there for them to listen and help them. And one of the last comments we have, early morning greeting, just because I know it's 12 hours in the opposite side of the world, from Jordan Augustine, another family member, or Ohana, literally Ohana because they're in Hawaii. Jordan Augustine says, "Good morning, fam. Uh, one day we will collab, bro. One day we will collab. It's always nice to talk to fellow Hawaii brethren." So, as we had mentioned, the verse of the week that we're about to bring up is really structured around a topic that we've been talking about: is miscommunication, and it does lead to conflict. So now, let's all watch the verse of the week: resolving conflict in marriage.
The relationship between a husband and wife is truly a gift from God. So it's important for both to understand its meaning and purpose, especially when challenges and conflicts arise. Hi, I'm Brother Matthew Capistrano, and on this verse of the week, we'll be able to understand how God intended the relationship of the husband and wife to be. Here in 1 Corinthians chapter 7, 4 and 3. A wife is not the master of her own body, but her husband is. In the same way, a husband is not the master of his own body, but his wife is. A man should fulfill his duty as a husband, and a woman should fulfill her duty as a wife. Since the man and woman who are united in marriage already became one flesh, they contribute in every possible way to one another's comfort and happiness. Neither the husband nor the wife is the master in their marriage. Instead, it is God and His will that should rule in their life together. God's purpose for marriage, however, extends far beyond personal happiness, and that is for the married couple to pursue higher values. It is vital then to put God first in your marriage. So, even when bills pile up, if communication breaks down, or when conflicts come up, you should be able to rise above these challenges. And as they strive to fulfill their duties to each other, and most especially their duty to serve the true God, both husband and wife will surely overcome any challenge they face through God's grace and help. We hope you've gained inspiration from this verse of the week. And if you know someone who could benefit from this reminder, please share this short video with them. Stay safe, stay strong, stay faithful. God bless.
And thank you to Brother Matthew for that timely reminder, inspiring message. What a way to close off our conversation with the words of our Almighty God to remind us exactly what we need to hear about marriage and the way to resolve conflict. And sadly, it is about that time. We are coming to the end of our broadcast. It was such a great conversation, such a deep conversation, a lot of participation from those in chat. Thank you to everyone who took their time again to join us on their Monday. For us here in Europe, it's their dinner time. For my Central Europe family, is always joining. But before I do my shout outs, let's start off with Jay to give his shout outs first.
Oh, for me, just a shout out to everyone that shared their thoughts and insights. Our Ohana there in live chat. Really appreciate you tuning in and sharing some of your own personal experiences because we learned something from that as well, right? We all learning from each other here. So that's Ohana. That's family, right? We all learn and grow together as family. Shout out to my wife, Jem, and to our daughter, Lena. And also welcome again to our newest host here on Faith and Melody, to Henry Inocencio. Love so much that you are here joining us on our Monday broadcast and here on Faith and Melody. So again, shout out to you, Henry, and to everyone there in live chat.
Thank you so much for the welcoming, and I've enjoyed it so much that I just want to keep on being here every Monday for Faith and Melody. All right, Belle, would you like to say any shout outs and greetings to anyone?
I would also like to say that we really loved having you here. We loved having you here as a guest before. So now that you've joined us on the team, we're more than delighted to have you here, Henry. So thank you. And thank you also to our Ohana there. Thank you so much for your support. And I would also like to greet my family, my mom, Sam. Sam's birthday was last week, so like happy birthday again. And then Ate Erica, Arian, and Dan as well. But yes, thank you so much. And also Jay for being here because the time there is not really it's at odd times. So when Rod mentioned earlier to be there for someone at odd times, well, Jay is the literal proof of that, for to be present at odd times.
Oh, didn't expect that, but thank you.
So we are coming to you from 3 different time zones, but you know what? We communicate. There hasn't been miscommunication yet, but we've learned today that regardless of the time, regardless of the hour, when we listen to music and we listen to music together, that we can have Faith and Melody with our Ohana every Monday. So we hope to see you next time in our upcoming broadcast. Quick shout out to my wife and my kids who are literally outside the door, outside the wall, always supporting me in my broadcast. Support from Central Europe cluster or district. Always happy to see you for making the Ohana grow in Faith and Melody. And so as we come to a conclusion or to the close of our broadcast, thank you to everyone for joining us today. Again, my name is Henry from Germany.
And this is Jay from Australia.
And I'm Belle from the United Kingdom, and we have been your hosts for today. And we hope that today's episode has given you a positive start to your week ahead. And with that said, to close off, we will be listening to Never Surrender. So join us again for the rest of the week on the next episode of Faith and Melody. See you next time, and take care, everyone. Thank you so much.
This life, I have so much to bear, so much worries and cares. I won't give up, for I know I'm never alone. You're always there. Father, you are always by my side. I love to hold on, to stay strong, never give up on my faith. I'll endure till the end. faith. I will hold on to my faith. I will strive to always live a worthy life. I vow to hold on, to stay strong, never give up on my faith. I'll endure till the end. I will never surrender. I vow I will never surrender. Fight for my faith. 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 I vow to hold on, to stay strong, never give up on my faith. I'll endure to the end. I will never surrender.
It's another week of honest and inspiring topics on faith and melody. Tuesday, Beyond the Words. Wednesday, Glorified Guidance. Thursday, God's Love and Majesty. Friday, Embracing Ourselves. There's always something to enrich our minds on faith and melody. Tune in to INCRadio YouTube channel Tuesday to Friday 12 a.m. Philippine time. That's Monday to Thursday 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.